A 7.0 earthquake struck Norsop yesterday. Well, why are we reporting on this today, right? Well, I want to share something with you. First of all, in my time zone, which is Indiana, of course, it happened at 3:33 p.m. Now, even if you put it in UTC time zone, the 33 should make us all question it. Why question it? It's a time zone. Who really cares? Well, there's a few reasons as to why, and let's go through them. Number one, this earthquake was so large that it actually shook the whole planet. Today's 7.0 earthquake literally shook the entire planet, registered throughout the entire USA. Today's magnitude 7.0 earthquake was so ferocious, it literally shook the entire planet during and upwards of 20 minutes after striking Vanuatu on the other side of the world. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, all 88 seismographs in the Advanced National Seismic System, ANSS, registered the massive quake over 10,000 miles away. Moreover, the ANSS also registered continued shaking traveling through the planet for upwards of 20 minutes after the quake ended. Ladies and gentlemen, the earth shook to and fro like a drunkard. So forceful and violent was this earthquake that its shock waves actually registered on every seismograph in the USA, even sending some of the US seismographs right off the scale. It even shook the Yellowstone supervolcano. Now, let's go over some of these images here. If you're in the article, you can see it directly below as to exactly what took place. My God, this is incredible. Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, Wyoming. That's a lot of seismographs. I mean, this is in Michigan, Connecticut, Ohio, Minnesota, Texas, New York, Virginia, Oregon, Alabama, North Carolina. I went way too fast. I apologize. Montana, Utah, Alaska. Just keeps going and going and going. Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, Illinois, Washington, Idaho. Keeps going and going and going. The real question is, what exactly caused this quake? Well, let's change tracks here for just a second. Let's go on what's going on at CERN right now. A weasel, 53 minutes ago, this was posted, has shut down the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. In other words, the LHC is offline. It's been turned off until further notice. Oh, really? A tiny mammal has reportedly brought the world's largest scientific experiment to a halt. The LHC suffered a power outage last night after a luckless weasel decided to chew on a 66 kilovolt power cable. Right. Okay. So a weasel snuck its way in and chewed on a cable which has now indefinitely, until potentially after the 6th of May or whenever it is, whatever dates they had really come up with, they don't really know yet, turned off the power. This has happened before, where in this excuse in 2009, a bird dropped a baguette onto a critical electrical system and shut down the power. There are 2 times now this has happened, and both times that it has actually happened, when CERN's gone offline for electrical reasons or so on and so forth, something around the world has happened. We'll get into that in just a second. Let's continue. It's not the first time the LHC, a 17-mile superconductor that smashes atoms together at close to the speed of light, has run into trouble because of something small and cute. In 2009, the power went down after a bird dropped a baguette onto a critical electrical system. Although the incident was widely reported and confirmed at the time by sources at the LHC, CERN is apparently now telling folks it may be apocryphal. This was the story that was told, but we never knew exactly what happened. CERN spokesperson Arnaud Marsollier told New Scientist regarding the baguette incident. We're in the countryside and you have wild animals. Regardless of how things went down then or now, it's clear that the LHC is an extremely sensitive experiment. NPR reports that it will take CERN just a few days to repair the damaged transformer, but that the LHC may not be fully operational again until mid-May. As that's why I'm saying indefinitely. I'm not saying they're shut down for good or anything of that sort. I'm saying they're shut down indefinitely because there's no set date of when they're coming back online. The very interesting time period is all of it matches ritual dates. We have one of the biggest ritual days coming up of the entire year, May 1st. What is May 1st known for? May 1st, 1776, the Bavarian Illuminati. Number one. Number two, April 30th through May 5th, Beltane. The grand climax, blood sacrifice, the largest rituals of the entire year that are practiced and of course held by the satanic cults of the world. These are huge days. Typically every year something like this happens around this time period. It's a blood sacrifice for the rest of the year. It's the grand climax. Rituals are massive because it's celebrated by multiple different cult organizations across the world. And of course that means stuff because whatever happens in the spiritual manifests itself into the physical. And when these things happen, bad things happen on earth. So there's got to be a reason that this has happened now. There's got to be a reason that CERN is shut off for this time period. Now I would like to further prove my point that CERN just shook the entire planet. So first, let's go over this here. The 7.0 earthquake took place at 7:33 p.m. UTC. Okay? We got it? Good. Okay, this earthquake was so large that it apparently shook the entire planet and registered on seismographs all across the USA. Good? Got it. Okay, now let's go here. Now this is not UTC time here. This is Geneva time here. Okay, so this is we're focusing on the one on the right. This one was at 8:25 a.m. today, but this one is the one that we want to focus on right now. 4:28, 2016 at 21:15 Geneva time. This is beam 2 dumped. This, of course, is the last injection right here. The last dump was here. Last injection was here for beam 2. So the last beam injection for beam 2 is at what time UTC? Geneva is 2 hours ahead of UTC. Here we are here. Now this is obviously off the times of the earthquake because the UTC time of the earthquake was 7:33 p.m. Geneva time puts it at 9:30 p.m. That's when the earthquake took place. And I'll go back and do it all over again just to make sure I've got this clear. Because it took me a while to get all the numbers and whatever. Not 9:30. Wow. 7:33 p.m. UTC. That is the time of the 7.0 earthquake. 9:30 p.m. is in Geneva time of the same earthquake. Okay? Now, just 15 minutes before the large earthquake that shook the entire planet, apparently, the last injection of beam 2 was at 21:15 or 9:15. 15 minutes before. And on the very same day, they suffer a massive power outage due to a quote-unquote weasel. I'm not buying the weasel story, just as I didn't buy the baguette story. In fact, I wasn't the only one who didn't buy that baguette story, because back in 2009, something very interesting took place. The last time something like this happened was in 2009. And of course, time travel. This is the Bibliothèque accidentally discovered by CERN and the LHC ? Now we know, as of now, obviously, quite a few years later, that CERN is very capable of opening portals and so on and so forth, and very, very capable of using time travel through gravitational waves and things. Let's continue. A few weeks ago, Italian scientist Sergio, who is director for research and scientific computing at CERN, said the Titanic machine LHC may possibly create or discover previously unimagined scientific phenomena or unknown unknowns. For instance, an extra dimension. Out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. So, okay, we know that they're opening portals. We know they're opening dimensions. It's very demonic, And of course they're bringing something here, and of course they're opening doors to other dimensions, which of course is having effects on this planet. We have seen through many different videos, many different times, how their machine affects the the magnetosphere of Earth gets manipulated by this machine. It is monstrous, the effects that are done to our magnetosphere when this machine is turned on, when it's running at full speed. There are plenty of people who have documented this. It is not conspiracy, it is factual. You compare the numbers to what is going on the magnetosphere, it is crazy. Okay, anyways, let's further go over this, because this is the previous time back in 2009. A massive power blackout hit South America, and it was due to what's called a time wave. We now know, according to gravitational waves and the new studies and so on and so forth, that prove time waves, they exist. Gravitational waves exist. And of course, that means manipulations in time. Time traveling, opening doors, it all furthers that, and it all proves it. That emanated from the mysterious Bolivian Andes region called, I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly, Tiahuanaco, where the mysterious 10-ton gateway of the sun. Now wait a minute, what's just gone on this past month? We have who? Baal, that's right, the sun deity, being resurrected and brought back to life. All across the planet. Thousands of his temples are about to go up, and no, they did not cancel it. That is the, I mean, I can't believe the deception that they actually used. Oh, we're just going to do the archway of Palmyra. No, folks, that's the entrance into the temple, and they're going to attempt to do that in New York after a while. They delayed it, but they're still doing it. They did not cancel it. In other words, let's get back to this. Where the mysterious 10-ton gateway of the sun, monolithic, carved from a single block of andesite granite, is located. It was triggered by an anomalous event at the world's largest and highest energy particle accelerator, the LHC. In Switzerland, run by the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, and rippled through the thousands of ancient pyramids complexes located throughout Brazil and other countries of South America. If you guys remember back to 2015, and just about this time last year, we brought up this article. And I think it was the only time we did it. We might have done it again. But there were two massive videos that we placed on YouTube. And of course, something had happened. It was with the ley lines. And now we're seeing it happen again. So there seems to be a pattern forming here that every year around the same time period, whether they shut off or stay on, they're activating these ley lines for the year. These ley lines are massive power centers. And of course, I'm not talking about electricity. We're talking about spiritual things. According to these reports, the CERN scientists at the LHC began a series of experiments on November 1st, 2009, in preparation for the restarting of the operations, when they shockingly discovered that their testing was distorting Earth's magnetic field and had shot off a time wave towards the core of our planet that their tracking showed veered exactly towards the sun gate, high in the Bolivian Andes Mountains. Most unfortunately, however, was that when the initial time wave spawned by the LHC erupted from the sun gate and headed out towards the space above South America. It literally glanced into the path of an Iberworld Airbus A330-300 flown by Air Comet, which was already to begin its descent into Santa Cruz, Bolivia, but then found itself instantly and mysteriously over the skies of Santa Cruz, Spain, over 5,500 miles away. What? Okay, so it looks here, again, going back over this story, that a plane was traveling over Bolivia and was suddenly blipped, and we're going to use that word, into Spain's airspace. What in the world? Correct? So now, fast forward to here. We don't have any incidents like that today, but yesterday we had an earthquake that shook the entire planet. What is CERN doing? Now somebody's going to sit there and say, you're so crazy right now. Great, call me crazy. There's evidence that proves it. There's plenty of evidence that proves what we're saying today. 30 minutes after a beam injection, a 7.0 earthquake that shook the whole planet, registered on countless seismographs, went off. The evidence is stacking up. It really can't be denied much longer. We cover a lot of this information, and we cover a whole bunch more in our unlimited section of the website, freedomfightertimes.com. Make sure you sign up and check it out. You do not want to miss what we have. That's all I got for you. God bless and carry on.